And that breaking news at 6, protesters confronting agents in the fields of a farm in Ventura County. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. Federal officers moved in late this morning and started to detain people, but they were met with resistance. A standoff between protesters and those agents lasting hours. We've watched it all unfold from our cameras on the ground and from News Chopper 4.
That standoff is still going on as we speak. Our investigative reporter Eric Leonard live right now in Camarillo with an update for us. Eric?
Hi, Colleen and Michael. Well, the atmosphere is a bit less tense now than it was in the previous few hours. That's because a lot of the federal agents who were inside the farm along Laguna Road just south of us have begun to leave. We saw a caravan of, 6 or 7 vans along with an armored truck and some other federal agents in different kinds of vehicles leave within the last half hour or so. There are a lot of demonstrators have started to go too, and that's why some of this tension has started to lessen really in the last 30 minutes to an hour. Some of those demonstrators who were on scene here today tell me they came out to protest because they hope that being seen, having their voices heard, would encourage other people to come out and demonstrate against the federal government.
I'm out here to speak for the people that are unable to speak for themselves, that are too afraid to speak for themselves. I'm here to show my support for people who are being oppressed right now.
Federal agents, some of them dressed in fatigues and with what appeared to be some military vehicles in tow, arrived at the Glass House Farms property just south of us near Camarillo this morning. And this was one of at least 2 locations tied to the same company where agents began making arrests. Social media messages were posted and dozens, if not hundreds, of demonstrators appeared at both sites. At this farm, protesters confronted the agents as they searched the property and began to detain people. Smoke and chemical irritants were fired by the agents towards the demonstrators. Some people showed me injuries from what they said were rubber or foam rounds. The Ventura County Fire Department says it treated at least 7 people for injuries. And late today, some protesters began to use their cars to block the narrow 2-lane roads that lead in and out of the farm, effectively boxing in some of the federal agents who remained on scene really until the last hour. Now, some of the people that were near the farm or even on the farm, witnesses to what happened today, tell me they believe at least 50 people were detained by those federal agents during that operation on the farm here in Camarillo. The other operation, we should mention, was up in Carpinteria, some miles up the coast. We saw some of the people who were being detained loaded into vans, others being loaded into a U.S. Marshals bus, and we know that bus left Ventura County down the 101 back towards Los Angeles. So far, no official word from federal authorities about what or who agents were seeking when they showed up at the farm here this morning. The demonstrators again are beginning to leave as well, and the tension here, which was pretty significant today when you had these lines of demonstrators, lines of federal agents, the tear gas or chemical irritants going back and forth, and then even in the last half hour as some of those agents were leaving, rocks and bottles were being thrown at their vehicles. It seems like things have calmed down a bit. Reporting live in Camarillo, I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Eric, thank you. Developing news right now. A judge will rule tomorrow on a case aimed at restricting ICE raids across L.A. County. Earlier today, the U.S. District Court judge issued a tentative ruling that would grant a temporary restraining order blocking the Department of Homeland Security from conducting future ICE raids in the 5 counties of Southern California. Now, the Biden appointee says this decision will come down tomorrow and that she has changed her mind at the last minute in the past. Now, if her initial ruling holds, this would be a significant setback for the Trump administration.
Now to an NBC4 exclusive. An update now, an undocumented gardener from Tustin who was arrested by federal agents. Narciso Barranco's son, who is also a U.S. Marine, along with 2 brothers who are U.S. Marines. That son is speaking out after learning his father is set to be released on bail. Our Conan Nolan live in the newsroom with reaction. Conan.
That's right. Remember, President Donald Trump said that when it came to the immigration actions, they were looking for the worst of the worst. That would not be the description either from neighbors, businesses, or clergy of the man who was arrested in Tustin 2 weeks ago. He's due to be released on bond either this weekend or Monday.
If there's a visual that has rallied the campaign against President Trump's immigration crackdown, it may be this one. Taken to the ground and struck repeatedly, a Tustin man named Narciso Barranco. A 48-year-old gardener who is undocumented, but who has lived in Southern California for 3 decades and sent 3 sons to the United States Marines. U.S. Senator Adam Schiff.
One of his sons, one of the Marines, spoke on the air about how much he loves serving the country, but how much he feels betrayed. And to me, what was most heartbreaking was him describing his father speaking to him for the first time from a detention center, asking this son to gather his landscaping tools and finish the job he was doing when he had been arrested.
He was taken into a federal detention center, but now will be released on a $3,000 bond. His son, former Lance Corporal Alejandro Barranco, was in court.
The whole room, you know, like little cheers. You can hear some people crying. It was a very good feeling. I was sitting with my 2 brothers, and we just looked at each other and we won, you know, and that's what we said to each other. And the first thing I think we want to do is have him checked out medically, because he does say he still has pain. We've talked to him. We're concerned, you know, he could have had a concussion. We don't know what that looks like now. So for sure, medically check him out first. After that, I mean, go home, eat some good food, and for sure we're cooking that carne asada outside, you know.
Department of Homeland Security said that he was arrested because he raised a garden tool against federal agents and it interfered with a federal operation. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4 News.